Welcome all. Today I'll be giving a brief on the SI session for running. My name is Cadet Berglund and I will begin with the agenda. Today I'll be talking about designated stretching, proper technique, ways to improve time, the Doctrine of FM 7-22, and some helpful resources. To start off designated stretching, obviously we know we need to stretch our legs when running, but also some of the hot areas that people tend to forget or don't necessarily know that will affect as much are the hip flexors, which, as you can see in the top right photo of the lady, she is doing a stretch that it is a half lunge, and instead of just leaving your leg down on the ground in the back, she's grabbing her foot and pulling it up. That's pulling the muscle in your thigh up to your hip. It's really stretching that out and making you loose so you don't tighten up while running, and it allows you to stride better. The next part I'll talk about is shoulders and arms. As I'll go on later in proper technique, shoulders and arms are a very important part of running. You need to be able to move them properly and not tighten up and have less movement. Another area are your ankles, and this is more of a thing where people know your ankles need to be sturdy and strong so that way you don't roll them easily. But the problem is people tend to not stretch them because it's weird to say. But a main way that you can do it is, as you can see the picture of the person in the middle with the arrows. If you just put your toes against a wall and push, it'll rotate your ankle and allowing it to move. But the key factor here is you need to push your body against it so there's pressure. And then another way you can stretch or just have mobility in your ankles is just rolling it in circles and just getting that movement and mobility there. Those are just some of the stretches you can do. If you need more, obviously you can look them up, but these are some of the ones that I personally do. Now, for proper technique, this is a big thing that, as a well-rounded runner as myself, competing in cross country and everything, when I don't see someone using proper technique, it just kind of sends off that red flag of like, man, this could really help. So with arm movement, this is very important because you need to continuously keep your arms moving. It allows for your body to have the proper stance, and also moving your arms helps thrust your body forward. As you can see in the photo to the right of the lady, her arms are locked at a 90-degree angle and her fists are closed. They're not tight, but they're closed. And so what you want to do is you want to maintain that 90-degree angle because it'll help propel your body forward in a sense. And a thing with arm movement that is something that is very important to know is when you start to get sore in your shoulders or your arms at all while running, or it starts tightening up, when you're running downhill or just kind of, if it's just really bad, you just kind of want to shake your arms out, make them so they're just straight and kind of shake them out, open your hands, all that stuff. It'll really help in loosening you up and making you feel limber. The next thing is leg striding. This is a big thing for running. As you can see in this photo, the lady has her knee at a 90-degree angle as she strides out. A good thing for this is to pay attention. When you put your front foot forward, you want to try and make a 90-degree angle, because if you go too far in a stride, you can overstride, and that can cause damage in your knees and just a lot of pain. And then also, you don't want to understride where you're just barely moving your foot forward, and so you're just running and taking more steps than you need to, and you could just stride out and kind of just move along. Another thing is eyes ahead. As you can see, her eyes are focused on where she's going. This is more for the posture of running. If you're looking down, you're stretching your spine out and making it so that you're just putting more tension on yourself. If you keep your head forward, keeps your neck feeling good, keeps your back not getting tight and being really sore after running. It's also one of the reasons why it may sound weird, but it's one of the reasons why some people actually have back problems in running, because they just stare at the ground, so they're putting more tension on their body than need be. And then another big thing that comes with proper technique in running is breathing. As you can see in the bottom picture of the inhale exhale, a really nice way to make sure you're maintaining good breathing and making sure it doesn't change too much is you want to try and make a cadence with it. As you can see here, it's 2 steps as you're inhaling and exhaling on 1 step. Next 2 steps, inhale, exhale on 1. So it's one of those things where it's kind of whatever best fits you. The bigger you are, the more breath you may need, or the smaller you are, the less breath you can really get in. So this is one of those big things where you have to custom to yourself, and you kind of have to figure it out, but you want to try and maintain the same breathing as you're going. Obviously, if you're doing vigorous running, this is harder, but it is a big thing to pay attention to, and it'll also help you have your mind somewhere else than just focusing on running and like the possible pain or whatever is going on. So now I'm going to talk about ways to improve time. These are things that I've done through cross country and just running for myself that's improved over time and just helped me. The first thing is build a schedule. It's a good way to keep you organized. It's a good way to track how you're doing. It also allows you to not keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. So as you can see in the picture to the right, this is just my week schedule of last week, the full week that I had logged out, all done. It has what I did, has the duration, and has the distance. So the two big things that comes with running is that you don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. You don't just want to run distance every day for the same mileage or run sprints every day. You want to change it up. For improving time, you want to run for distance. As you can see, 3 of my 7 days were distance runs, where it was 4, 6, 5 miles. And obviously the time depends on distance, but you want to try and push yourself a little bit during that, but also at the same time not too hard so it's not like you're sprinting the whole thing. This will allow for you to have more endurance and be able to run for longer periods of time. So when you have to run that 2 mile run, it's not as bad because you've ran 5 or 6 miles. Another thing is running short and fast. As you can see, I have sprints, light jog, 30-60s. This helps build up just your speed, helps build up your cardio and just your breathing because you're doing something more vigorous. So it just helps you in being able to breathe in those situations. So when you have to push yourself, you're able to. Another big thing, like I already mentioned a little bit, is change up your distance. Don't run the same distance every day because if you run less than it, then your body is going to act weird and you're not going to be able to pace yourself. And if you run way more, like if you're running 2 miles every day and then I'm going to do 5 miles a day, that's really going to hurt your body. You're going to be sore. You're not going to be able to pace yourself. So you just want to continuously change up the distance to keep your body just ready for anything. And then another thing that I've learned is rest days are very important. You don't want to just run your body on the ground every single day, just run, run, run. You need to take rest days. Now, these rest days, you can literally do nothing, or you can at least do like abs or arms or something like that. But you want to give your legs a rest day. You don't want leg day every day, But now I'll move on to the Doctrine and FM 7-22. This is very helpful in just how running is incorporated in the Army and also just how it impacts soldiers. So the first thing I'll talk about is, FM 7-22 is Army Physical Readiness Training. And the big thing with it is it wants to improve soldiers' conditions by developing endurance. Now the two kinds of endurance are aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic is developed by low to moderate intensity over long durations. So that would be more of your long distance runs and just pacing yourself. Whereas anaerobic is high intensity for a short duration. So that's your sprints, your 30-60s, just all those kind of runs. So it just builds up your speed and just being able to breathe. And so the last thing that kind of is dealt with in this is the Meet Warrior Task and Battle Drill Requirements, or WTBD. So the big thing here is you want to train complete spectrum of endurance for speed running, sustained running, and foot movement other than a load. So kind of here in the picture showed is when you have a load on as a ruck or a backpack that has gear in it or anything like that, you need to be able to be relied on and be able to move those to where you need to go without having to fall out or having to take it off and take a break. It's a big thing to stay ready, stay active, stay physically fit. And so the last thing I'll mention today is helpful resources. So these are two things that are really nice. The first thing I'll talk about is Army Doctrine Physical Training Guide. By the way, both of these websites that I have pictures of, I'll leave the links in the description. So if you are interested, you can check them out, do more research, or if you need any help in these areas, these are really helpful. So with the first one I mentioned, the left two pictures of the words, that is the whole guide laid out of like the contents of what's in it, what you can get from it. All super helpful stuff from gear to like what kind of shoes should you get, what kind of clothing should you wear, what should you do for nutrition. As well as those who like to prepare and go out of the way, they have certain drills you can do, they have training schedules you can pull, all these different things. So it's really helpful for those that want to go above and beyond and just maybe get more information about how to be better in the air. So the next one I'll talk about is the Army Combat Fitness Test Training. So this is for the new test that's coming to the Army. As you can see on the right side, there's two pictures of the top one is what it will look like when you open it. And if you scroll down a little bit, it will have those 6 events. So basically what you can use this website for is if you need more information on an event, more ways to train for the event, all this stuff like that. If you pick or click on one of those events in the test, it will actually pull all that info up and you can look at trainings to do for it to better yourself and prepare for standards, for more information about it, all that. It has everything you need for it. And again, I'll link both of those websites in the description of this video. So then in conclusion, proper stretching and technique is a big thing that will help you get better, and it'll help you run better and easier and be easier on your body. It'll allow you to be more limber and not tighten up so much, so it helps a lot with soreness and um, just doing better and running. And then one of my big things is follow a schedule. Like write on a schedule for a week of something you kind of want to do. You don't have to stick to it, but like write it out and then do something close to what you wrote out. So like let's say that you wrote 5 miles for Monday and you just can't do 5 miles. Run 4, but maybe push yourself a little bit. But just have a schedule set and try and stick to it best you can. Another thing is utilize helpful resources. The FM 7-22 will tell you requirements and just what you need to be for the Army, as well as the 2 websites I included, the guide and the test events. Those are very helpful in just helping you out with running or the test that's coming up that you're going to need to be able to know what to do. Those are just really good, helpful resources. For improvements will come. You have to give it time. It's not like you can just one day you run, you use good stretching, you use good technique, you're just gonna be faster. It's not how it works. You have to put the work in, but if you stick to the schedule and you do proper stretching and technique and you keep working on yourself and you maybe use some of the resources that I'm going to link and that I've told you about, improvements will come. You will get faster. Your cardio and endurance will improve. You'll feel better. It'll just, it'll all improve and it will come. You just have to be able to put the work in and the time. So at this time, I will be ending the video. If you have any further questions, go ahead and comment on this video and just, or if you need more feedback or something, let me know. Comment below this video. I will reply and let you know what's going on. My name is Cadet Berglund, and this has been my brief. Thank you.